You see, historically, dance was never just entertainment. It was spiritual expression. It was healing practice. It was a response to the transcendent.
Turn the music on, let the walls.
You cannot find a culture in this world where there is no music and dancing.
We were dancing before we knew our names.
Many of us don't dance anymore. Not primarily because we forgot how to, but I think because what?
The home of meaning. Turn the music on, let the walls come down. Let your feet remember what your heart has found. We were dancing before we knew our names, before the rules that shaped the fear of being seen.
Welcome back to this space where we explore the deep roots of the ideas that quietly shape our lives. Today I want to talk about something so basic, something so human that we forget how sacred it really is. Movement, dancing. In the womb, babies wiggle and stretch, responding to rhythm, to heartbeat. I'd say responding to life itself. And after birth, long before language forms, infants start to sway. They bounce, they rock, they dance before they can speak. Movement comes first, words come later. You cannot find a culture in this world where there is no music and dancing. You can find some which didn't have the wheel, but you cannot find one without music and dancing. You know, they'll have different rhythms, different steps, and different meanings, but they all hold the same truth. Movement is sacred. And yet, many of us don't dance anymore. Not primarily because we forgot how to, but I think because we're taught not to. Some don't dance for religious reasons. And I think that's worth naming honestly. Throughout history, certain religious movements tried to ban dancing. They labeled it as dangerous, they called it sinful, and even satanic. But here's the thing. You cannot extinguish something theologically that the body knows to be intrinsically true. The body was never confused about movement. But then on the other hand, others would say, well, fair and fine, but I can't dance. And that too, I think, is a cultural distortion, one shaped by shame primarily, by being told our bodies move wrong or that joy should be contained. For many, this is a shame-based lie we learned early and rarely questioned. Dance was never meant to be about skill or performance or being good at it. Dance is simply movement in response to rhythm. If we were never meant to dance, why all this music? Not just the music we compose, not only what we sing with our voices or shape through instruments, but the music already woven into the world, into the very fabric of life. I'm thinking about the steady flow of a river, the rise and fall of breath, the quiet pulse beneath what we call silence. Life has a cadence, a vibration, a tempo that moves through everything that lives. And when we dance, we're not inventing something new, we're responding to the rhythm life has been offering us all along. When we dance, something ancient wakes up, muscle remembers, the nervous system settles, the body finds coherence. This isn't an escape, it's regulation, it's presence, it's the body doing what it knows how to do, which is responding to life as it actually is. See, dance becomes a meeting place where the physical and the mysterious overlap, where the seen and the unseen move together. We don't dance to become spiritual. We dance because we already are embodied beings living inside a rhythm we didn't create, and yet we're constantly invited to join. You see, historically, dance was never just entertainment. It was spiritual expression. It was healing practice. It was a response to the transcendent. Before there were temples, before there were churches, before doctrines of belief were shaped, we were dancing. The body was temple. The dance was the prayer. Across cultures, dance has been a way to step into mystery. In Southern Africa, for example, among the San people, the trance dance has long been a sacred practice. Through rhythm and repetition, dancers enter altered states, not to escape reality, but primarily to start to heal the community. The line between body and spirit blurs, and healing in that space happens, and it happens through movement. Another example I can think of is from the Sufi tradition, where whirling is devotion in motion. As the dancer spins, mirroring the turning of the cosmos, the boundary between self and the divine slowly begins to soften. This is not performance. It's more like participation. And also, to add another example, across Indigenous cultures in the Americas, ceremonial dances mark life transitions. They honor ancestors and align the community with the rhythm of the earth. These dances are not watched, they are entered into. They are the quintessential example of lived spirituality. What all of these traditions understood is something I think we've largely forgotten. The body knows things the mind cannot articulate. And when movement is suppressed, a disconnect forms. First, from the body, and in some cases, from the soul itself. We live in a society that has taught us to think our spirituality, to analyze it, to debate it at times. But spirituality was never meant to live only in the head. It lives in breath, it's in muscle, it's in posture, it's in rhythm. And this is why dance can reach places that words cannot. This is why movement heals. Look, I'm not a dance instructor, but I have often prescribed movement to many of the people I work with, because so often our suffering isn't just mental or spiritual, it's embodied. We've learned how to think, but we've forgotten how to feel our bodies. And more times than I can count, I've told someone, you know what, take a dance class, turn the music on and move, not to perform, not to impress, just to notice. And suddenly something shifts. They become more conscious of the body, more present, more alive. Movement heals a part of the human soul that no pharmaceutical drug can ever compare to. So if you know something feels off, if you feel disconnected, if you feel stuck, if you're feeling numb, if any of that resonates with you, try this. Turn the music on and move. No mirrors, no rules, just notice what arises. And if something comes up, emotion, memory, confusion sometimes, or even release, that is not a failure. That is information. And if you need help making sense of all that information, if you want a space to integrate what your body is telling you, let's connect. I'll leave all the details in the description below. And whether or not we ever meet, whether or not we ever get to sit down and talk about the information that came up from your dance, you know what? I am glad you are here. Because learning how to live fully in body, in soul, and in spirit truly matters. And it happens when movement restores what words cannot.
The body is a temple, the rhythm is a prayer. While words forget, the motion still remembers. Turn the music on, let the walls come down. Let your feet remember what your heart